Let's talk about it. Watch your tone, you ain't grown, you way too childish. I would've smacked you on your head, but it's way too crowded. Try to talk sense into you, but you ain't sensible, a little sensible. Softer than my pillow, wavy like a ripple. These bars will rip you flesh, bone, and tissue. You meditate like the Hindu Vishnu. Hope the holy water kiss you and repair your issue. Hope the grace of God upon you and receive the wisdom. Spiritual martyr, go harder. Forgot my father, packing more knowledge than any constant punk and every scholar. And send the masses conjure higher powers to feed their conscience. Deceived by their own greed, they became monsters. Double talking tongue, language of the heathen. Propaganda and expanding and indoctrinate all night, wrestling with God, and he bruised my thigh. Saw so much evil, he blinded my eyes. Death to the flesh, in Christ I rise. In him I have.
Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Word of Truth. This is Word of Truth and me, 316. Giving y'all the message. It's pretty hot today. I got the fan going, so if y'all feel any type of way about the fan or the noise, I hope it doesn't distract you from getting what's going to be presented to y'all today. Something to learn from, something that's very, very active in the world right now. And make sure you like, share, subscribe, comment, and check out all the latest music that I have. I also do music, yes. They will be posted throughout the program. Also go on my YouTube and check out all my messages also, and hopefully y'all get the full understanding instead of just the clips, because the clips is only just the clips. But once you, my bad, my phone going off. Once you once we my phone going crazy, I gotta turn this off. Anyway, we're talking about sex magic today, and we're not going to be too long. I got other messages out right now, and let me turn this phone off because this is going to be distracting. It's going to be distracting. I see it now, and you see me now distracted. That's one thing about those little devices, man. They can distract you just about all the time about everything. So we're going to talk about the sex magic, and which is prominent in the world today, because this is something that a lot of people don't understand or know or have any knowledge of, because behind the scenes of things, sex is used in a variety of ways, especially in the cult world, when they're trying to achieve something, whether it's gaining power, whether it's gaining a woman or a man, or some type of job, or some money that they need to grab, is used in religious reasons. So let's get into it. Sex magic, sometimes spelled sex magic, is a type of sexual activity used in magical, ritualistic or otherwise religious or spiritual pursuits. One practice of sex magic is using sexual arousal or orgasm with visualization of desired result, a premise posited by sex magicians, and this is the concept that sexual energy is a potent force that can be harnessed to transcend one's normal perceived reality. So this is deeper than just getting an orgasm. This is more like gaining control of, like they like to say, oneself. I'm gonna go quickly through some of these names. Beverly Randolph, Pascal Beverly Randolph, the earliest known practical teachers of sex magic in the Western world, come from 1900. American occultist Pascal, if I'm saying that right, Beverly Randolph son of a wealthy Virginian father and a slave mother. He was well-known spiritualist. He was a well-known spiritualist who was greatly influenced by the work of English Rosicrucian and scholar of Catholicism, Hargrave Jennings. Now, there's a lot that just went on just right here. This guy was an American occultist that was influenced by Rosicrucians. Rosicrucians are your Catholics or your Knight Templars, from those branches. Okay, if you understand what the Knight Templars are and what the Rosicrucians are about, well, this is the birth of Catholicism. All right, the scholar of Catholicism, which is a sex organ worship. It goes both ways, from the woman's sex organ to the man's sex organ. Randolph developed one of the most influential systems of sex magic. As per him, the moment when one reaches orgasms is the most intense and most powerful experience a human can have in life, for in that moment the soul suddenly opens to the divine realm and the breath of God is infused. And he said the true sex power is God power. So now they're equating sex magic with God. What God? It can be any God that you want. As long as that sex magic is applied, you can call on any God that you want. Let's keep it rolling. Randolph insisted that for the magic to be effective and prayers be fulfilled, both the partners involved and should achieve orgasm at the same moment. His teachings were later passed on to numerous secret societies in Europe, the most notable being Ordo Templi Orientis, or OTO, founded by Carl Kellner, Theodore Rezus, or whatever his name is, right? No disrespect. I just want to see what this was. So you see the symbolism already with this Ordo Templi Orientis, the Trinity, right? So this is your Egyptian symbol, and this is your spirit, so-called, and this is whatever that is. We're gonna keep it moving because we're not gonna be all up in this. Let's just keep on reading. Carl Kellner, the founder of Ordo Templi Orientis, said he had learned the techniques of sex magic from 3 adepts in this art. Beginning in 1904, references of these secrets, Kellner of the OTO, began appearing in an obscure German Masonic periodical called, I can't say that name, in 1912. Let's keep it going. Or our order possesses the key which opens up all Masonic and Hermetic secrets, namely the teachings of sexual magic, and this teaching explains without exception all the secrets of Freemasonry and all the systems of religion. See? So Freemasonry is the baby right now. Freemasonry is the secret society right now, which upholds all these type of teachings and ritualistic acts. You have Aleister Crowley reviewed heavenly bridegrooms and passages of his journal, The Equinox, stating that it was one of the most remarkable human documents overproduced, and it should certainly find a regular publisher in book form. Talking about Aleister Crowley here. Speaking of Aleister Crowley, let's just go and keep on moving. He publicized the Book of Lies, while OTO included from its inception the teachings of sex magic, the highest degree of order. When Crowley became head of the order, he expanded on these teachings and associated them with different degrees as follows: masturbation, heterosexual, anal intercourse. So masturbation or autosexual magical techniques were referred as lesser work of soul. Heterosexual magic techniques were taught, and anal intercourse magic techniques were taught. And with those, anal intercourses are really for the males, because generally some women likes that, and it really won't affect them. But for those that affect, for women that's affected by that or don't like that, they will enjoy it. But mainly it's to break the man down, especially when he's an alpha male and you don't want no alpha males around. So in order to shut him up and put him down, they do their thing behind closed doors. Now, Aleister Crowley was one of the most satanic people that you can look up. If you want to look up somebody evil that studied this stuff, look up Aleister Crowley. I would do it, but it would take hours and hours. So let's keep it moving. Sex and magic, creation, death, and rebirth. Egypt is a land where life and death transition and integrate. The Desert, capable of delivering death and decay, gives way to the fertility of the Nile. The immense heat of the blazing sun departs into the coolness of the night, and a symbol of death, and rises again as the morning. The concepts of death, transformation, and rebirth are represented everywhere in ancient Egyptian civilization, including their magical practices and their sexuality. And while be the focus of this paper, ancient Egypt invokes sensations of mysteries, allure, and intrigue. We seek to understand the brilliance and the connections of this civilization held with gods and the cosmos, for these connections greatly influenced the Egyptian understanding of and relationship to life. As a practitioner of the occult, I find great intrigue and curiosity in exploring the spirituality and mysticism of ancient Egypt. Blah blah blah. So this guy, whoever's writing this article. Magic offered a means of communication with the gods and the cosmos as a whole, and to influence the desired outcome of an obstacle. As with my own occult studies based in traditional witchcraft, magic is practiced. Let me see, did I miss anything? Make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay. Alright, that's good. Let's keep it going. In order to strengthen the connection with the divine, magic then is integrated into daily practice. Further integration involves the sexuality of the ancient Egyptians, for without sexuality there is no destruction, no rebirth. Sex was nothing to be ashamed of, embarrassed by, and was not necessary to be hidden. Booth. In contrast to our modern Western Judeo-Christian perspectives, and interestingly, however, the imagery was sometimes coded in the treasures of King Tut. Can't say his name, I don't want to butcher it. A clothing dresser was found depicted an image of a boy king drawing a bow and arrow near his feet, reclined his wife, and the word meaning to shoot, which was clear connotations with the imagery of archery. Further reflection determines this word corresponds to ejaculate. Wow. All that just to say ejaculate. So King Tut with the bow and arrow and him reclining is a form of ejaculation, I guess. The mysteries document named to the Tyran papyrus unearthed in early 19th century. Let's keep going down. The theory of the satire or social commentary arises because the illustrations. Oh, matter of fact, let's go back. The purpose of the pictures, pornography, social commentary, coded messages to the god. So, okay. So basically, pornography was integrated in Egyptian art for the imagery part, because one has to imagine. They want you to imagine yourself in a certain situation, particularly a sexual situation. This is why masturbation is part of that process. And then today you have pornography and masturbation, which is the same thing as what they have done back in those days when they had created little figurines, or they had drew it in hieroglyphs, or the place, the temple in India where they have all the sexual positions and all those things. Pornography is a huge part of sex magic. And what people don't know is when you're sitting there imagining being pleasured by somebody else, you're opening yourself to demons. And those that so-called have maybe sleep paralysis, you might have opened yourself up to sexual desire, because that's the only way those type of things happen. It has a connection with that. Incubus, succubus. We're not going to get too far. Like I said, I don't want to go too. I'm already about to be 20 minutes in, and I'm overdoing it. Like I said, man, the sex magic thing goes deep. This goes into the industry also. Let me see. Other perspectives have been offered for consideration. Medina was the location of the workers who were building the Valley of the King temples. As such, this village was populated with artisans and scribes, like we was talking about, who have possessed creativity and intelligence in literature. The cleverness possible in the minds and skills of these people is not to be overlooked. The papers could simply be the ancient world's versions of men's pornographic magazines. Some scenes seem to be suggestive of the brothels, with the young women engaging with older men. Researchers have also unearthed love poetry expresses sensual feelings, and passages describes a woman as emerging from the waters of the Nile, clothing clinging to her body, her fingers like lotus petals, and her thighs, her beauty rests both. The Turan papyrus could be telling of the sexual desires and relations of the people in everyday Egyptian society. The importance of sex maintains relevancy in its relationships to creation and rebirth, and was therefore enjoyed by deities and by souls of the afterlives. Let's keep it going. Let's go down. The myth of Osiris and Isis and Seth clearly describes sex and phallic symbolism. Another spell relates to the love and faithfulness of Isis and Osiris. The male client will be instructed to appoint his penis with the ointment prepared for him by the magician. The engaging of the intercourse with his lover while his penis was anointed would ensure she would be faithful to him, and any children she conceived would be his. As a common magical workings, as is common in magical workings, there was a great covet for if she was already married or her affections lay elsewhere, the result would be hate towards him, as Isis hated Set. So sex magic derived, like I said, it can be used to get money, get power, or have control of somebody. right? Sexually. And this is what goes on in the industry. So when you have people in the industry that's quiet, or like like what P Diddy is going through right now, all this stuff that he's been accused of has everything to do with sex magic. Diddy's involved in sex magic. Anybody that's involved in, if you ever seen Eyes Wide Shut, that's sex magic. It's the same thing. It doesn't. Sex magic doesn't has to be about a person saying hocus pocus. That's not sex magic. Sex magic is witchcraft. It's very conniving. Let's keep it going. I don't want to keep reading all these things. But like I said, sex magic is basically just the control of it's like a blood sacrifice. There's no different from a blood. Well, the only difference between a blood sacrifice and sex magic is a person doesn't die during sex magic, or maybe it can happen. And during this sex magic, people can what you call that, astral project into somebody else's dream and have sex with them. See, people don't know that either. The astral projection. If you notice people in your dream that's not notice that you normally don't see in your dream, or they have some type of connection to that person or whatever, and there's demons involved, and in between that, you should look into that. I think you should investigate that. I know I had dreams, weird dreams. I had dreams where I was being protected by wolves, and wolves was telling me that. Now they wasn't talking; they was, how you say that, telegraphing their thoughts into my thoughts, and I was thinking what I wanted to ask them, and they was telling me what they wanted to let me know through without even moving their lips. So yeah, I mean, that type of stuff is real, and I went through it personally. I went through those that so-called sleep paralysis thing where I had to go through what I had to go through, and that's just what it is. So they always combine God, the cosmos, the creation, the rebirth, and the death. They all combine that into their. They need all of those things to to set a foundation to deceive people. They need all those things, and they know these things doesn't work. All these things they talk about are tangible things, or things that they can't even describe themselves. They don't have no understanding themselves, but they use these tools as manipulation tools to get people to believe, or get people to do whatever they want to do. And sex magic is real. It's in the porn industry. People that's in the porn industry has a demon. They have a sex demon. A lot of these dudes that's in the porn industry go from women to men. A lot of people don't know that. We're gonna talk about that. We're not gonna get too deep into it, but I just wanted to tap in because we're gonna get into some deep stuff, and this is just a little smidget of what's going on. I didn't want to read all of this because it'd be too much, and it's probably stuff but we already talked about, and I don't want to be too repetitive. Here go one of them. The god Best is another masculine representation relating to sexuality. He is the protector of the children, and was seen as a vector in the ritual of childbirth. Archaeologists, my bad if I'm butchering these words, archaeologists have discovered masks in his image which were believed to have been worn by attendees while a young woman was in labor, in order to invoke his protection in keeping both newborn and mother safe and healthy wands likely imbued with magical protection spells in his name were also utilized, perhaps casting a protective circle over the belly of the mother. So that god Bess that was in your favorite movie, The Black Panther, was actually one of those gods, one of those sex gods. All Egyptian gods are sexual gods. All of them are. I sat there and just and listened and read some of the things that they possess. Right? This is all sex magic. They all sex gods. They thrive everything around sex. They control you by sex. For instance, you can be a prominent business owner, a prominent entertainer, a prominent whoever, right? And they can set you up, right? They can try to set you up with a woman to get you to have sex with her. Even pastors, they will try to set you up to have sex with a woman so they can break you, or they can, so you can enter, so they can possess you with a demon. These are witches and wizards that we're talking about. We're not talking about just regular people. These are witches and wizards, which we're talking about. But they're all over the place. They're in your schools. They're in your churches. They're in your workplace. They're in your shopping malls and your Walmarts and your Audis and your Krogers and your Publix. They everywhere. Your Save-A-Lots, wherever. They're everywhere. It's all about sexual control. And that's a dangerous thing. Snake is another symbol commonly seen in Egyptian mythology. Snake is also an incredible personal totem of mine. I have belly danced with snakes for over 20 years and find a strong bond with their spiritual representation of rebirth and transformation. To sidetrack into the personal experience, my beloved snake Jasmine of 17 years passed away prematurely in an accident in 2012. So this person had a snake. Snake is likely to spark the most controversial among the animal symbols, thanks largely to the negative Judeo-Christian beliefs depicting snake as evil. The Egyptians hold snake as a representation of inner sight, wisdom, and understanding, and was a common ornament among those initiated. Renet, I can't say that. Is this Egyptian goddess harvest and nourishment, oftentimes depicted artistically with the head of cobra. Her relationship and importance to harvest, bringing life and fertility, can be castrated with the symbolism of resurrection in snakes. She is also related to Wajet, a powerful protector of Lower Egypt. So they got many guys. They got gods for everything. So the snake is the curved feminine body is been poetically described as serpentine, a passage by contemporary author Karen Heller. So they use the snake for everything. They use the snake for sexual reasons. They use the snake for medicine. They use the snake for healing. They use the snake for spiritual meanings. That's why you see the snake everywhere. The S is really the snake. The I is really the snake. Satan was what? Put on his belly like a snake. Right? But they think that's light and wisdom. Um, and also, Bess was the patron god of music, dance, and sexual pleasure, further supporting correlations between sexual power and creative powers. Who else is the master of sex? I mean, the master of music. My bad. The minister. Who was the minister of music in heaven? Satan. Belly dancers, as well as many temple dancers, culturally utilize coin belts around their hips. The action emphasizes the suggestion movements of the pelvis. The sound also plays a role in sexuality, for music and dance are enhanced. Music and dance lead to sexual and sensual acts. So what they try to do basically is use they try to use music and dance to provoke one to sex. So that's why you have clubs. Sex magic is crazy. It's real. That's why you have clubs. Because when you go to the club, there's the lights, everybody drinking, ladies dancing like belly dancers or doing some type of solicit dance, because that's what belly dancing is really. It's different types of belly dancing, and that gets a man ready and aroused, and he gets him interested, and he wants to dance with you now, and y'all getting hot and erotic, and y'all feeling each other, and then next thing you know, y'all in each other's arms in the bed. So it's a lot with this. It's a lot. I would keep on going, but I'm unfortunately stop, because this can go easily an hour. And also, if you actually pay attention, also that it has, like, this god Bess has part in child rebirth or childbirth, right? So the god Moloch, right, accept sacrifices of newborn children. It's the same God, just different form. Other than that, man, I'm not gonna keep going. We already got the gist. I'm just getting y'all ready for what I'm about to hit y'all with. I might make this a mini movie, maybe, or just make it a good documentary. So we about to get familiar with these familiar spirits. That's what we about to do. We about to get familiar with them, because we about to understand why and what and where and what's the purpose of them, and do they reside in you. This is 316. I'm signing off. Hopefully y'all have a good Sabbath and a great weekend. I'm gonna try and enjoy my weekend, and make sure y'all check out all the music again. Make sure y'all check out all the videos. I got another video dropping soon, a music video, and many things are to come. We are always working. So this is 316. God bless y'all.